Good evening, everyone. This is Amy, the Mythic Rose Tarot. I'm doing something completely different right now. I did a recording this afternoon where I was going through the minor arcana and going through our sun star and Mars in relation to the astrological signs and the decans related to each, to certain minor arcana cards. I had so many lighting issues. My neighbor decided to start cutting a tree next door. I couldn't focus. I kept going as much as I could. And I also was introducing the Tarot of the Holy Light as a comparison to the minor decan and the astrological attributes. And on looking back on it, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. It's way too much information. I found myself getting the planets and the signs mixed up because the Tarot of the Holy Light holds a completely different system. And I was hoping that I can do a comparison and kind of give a breakdown as to the differences of the Tarot of the Holy Light and a regular Rider-Waite-Smith inspired deck. I couldn't do it. It's the Tarot of the Holy Light, as I mentioned, is its own system. It's something that you can't really compare it to any other deck. It holds alchemy influences, astrology that predates traditional astrology, and that's where the issue came in. And there's a whole bunch of symbolism and visual icons. I just couldn't compare it. So I continued looking through the video that I shot and decided I'm not going to show it. So what I'm going to do, and to make it easier on me, because I've been doing a lot of videos that are like an hour and a half to almost 2 hours long, to give a breakdown, especially of the astrological correspondences of the Golden Dawn. I have to be spiritually more self-caring for me. And when it comes to sharing information to other people, I'm trying to pack in a lot of information. And like I said, when I did this video this afternoon, it just wasn't working, and lighting issues and whatnot. So I think it was a sign just to stop, do a recheck as to the direction I want to put this in. So I'm going to really, really simplify it. So in this video, what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to be doing it in the next week, every 10 days or so, I'm going to do a Tarot Astrology overview, forecast, I guess you could say, for the week of that decan. So what I mean is, and I'm going to do it today, we are 10 to 20 degrees with Jupiter and Leo for August 2nd to the 11th. I'm going to double check I have this. And so what I'm going to do is, to start off this video, I'm going to give an overview of what Jupiter and Leo and its minor arcana card, which is the Six of Wands, how it actually influences people that are born during this week of August 2nd to the 11th. And then the following week, I will do from August 12th to the 22nd, the next decan, which would be 20 to 30 degrees, and that would be Mars in Leo. So I'm just going to do like a quick, maybe 10, 15 minutes breakdown, Jupiter and Leo for this week, give an explanation of that, how it relates to the card of the Six of Wands, and also the major arcana card of influence, which is also ruled by Jupiter, is the Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to do it like that from here on in. Long videos they're very exhausting. And then for the most part, I edit through them, and there's so much information, I just do quick edits. So I'm learning, I'm going through this process. So let's go into it. And so we're going to do the Tarot Astrology for Jupiter in Leo for August 2nd to the 11th, and that rules the second decan of 10 degrees to 20 degrees. Okay, so Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter is, as we know, the planet of expansion, optimism, luck, and prosperity. If it's placed in a particular sign, it's placed in a good way, that individual could have success throughout certain times of their lives. So for Jupiter and Leo, and being that we are in the month of Leo, and it's ruled by the sun, but I will talk about the sun cards in a moment. So for Jupiter and Leo, we have our Six of Wands. And for our Six of Wands, Jupiter in Leo, as I was saying, is a planet of expansion and luck. And the sign of Leo, which is ruled by the star, the sun, it uses that energy. It uses its vitality, the sign of Leo. It uses its love for life, enjoying things that are around them. They have strength and courage. And with Jupiter and Leo placement, and with the Six of Wands, if you're born during this week, many of the Jupiter and Leo folks tend to be very successful. And their success tends to come in the arena of where they're the center of attention, but they have the primary role of leadership. And that's more like in the performance arts, maybe a TV show host, a high-ranking political position where there's a lot of responsibility that's put on top of, that's put in place of taking control and managing a lot of things all at once. Those are some of the roles for Jupiter and Leo. And they love that attention. And they're naturals. Leo has a natural, overall Leos, they have a natural magnetism. There's just something about them. They have a natural charm, charisma. They're very engaging. And you can almost tell a Leo very well by the way that they express themselves and who they surround themselves with. So for this week, we only have a few more days left till August 11th. Our Six of Wands here shows the progress that has been made during the week of Jupiter in Leo. If you are born during this week and you do have Jupiter in Leo, we see here, this is the Pagan Otherworlds deck. We see the laurel wreath. We see the growth that's been taking place during the journey, especially in the Wands. Wands is a lot of movement, a lot of energy, and that's something that Leo really needs to keep it going, to keep the attention of the Leo. And it's working. With the Six of Wands card, we see the energy that's been used properly and how it's starting to show signs of progression. We're starting to see the growth of the leaves on the wands, and we have the nice ribbon that's going in and out through the wands, showing that there's progression, and also to keep that energy moving. It's a time of a lot of progression and growth. So that's for Jupiter and Leo. And the major arcana card of influence is our Wheel of Fortune, which I just had here a minute ago. There it is. So with the Wheel of Fortune, also held in the planet of Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune takes a little bit of a different perspective. It's a reminder. Archetypes, especially in the major arcana, are guides, they're keys, they're reminders of how, where we are in our lives and how the energy should be moving or changing. So with our Wheel of Fortune, we're seeing progression, but it's based on our previous actions. The Wheel of Fortune is also known for many as the karmic card. What goes around comes around. Whatever actions you've done in the past, whether successful or failure, you need to look at what's been done in the past. And if it's been failure, make those changes accordingly so that you can not fall back or get stuck in that rut or have that wheel stop moving. You need to keep it going, and it needs to be moving in the right direction. So with Jupiter, that planet of influence, and the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Wands for this week, if you're finding any blocks that are going on, take a moment, stop, and just look at what's been happening and make the correct choice to change the direction, to change your fate, so that it will lead you into a better realm. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune is also action. It's keeping optimistic. It's keeping things open. But keep the energy moving. It's a card of not being stagnant at all for the Wheel of Fortune. So that's for August 2nd to the 11th, the week of Jupiter and Leo, which is 10 to 20 degrees. The major arcana card, Wheel of Fortune, is your guiding card that you can use along with the Six of Wands to give that encouragement of moving forward and making those correct choices. It's very important. In the month of Leo overall, as I had mentioned earlier, this is, I want to say it's our last attempt for the season because we're slowly moving into fall. But this is the time to really harness and respect and draw in the sun's energy and use it to our benefit. It's a time of action. It's time to be active, be proactive in what you want to do and what you want to complete. Whether it's work, love, health, self-care, this is the time to do it. So that is Jupiter and Leo, Wheel of Fortune and Six of Wands for August 2nd to the 11th. Alrighty, so with that being said, we're going to now break down the sun star, the largest star that's out there, and gives us obviously the light that we have and the energy that we need to heal and to be active. As it's slowly starting to wane, as I had just mentioned, this time is very critical to make use of the sun's energy to benefit us in so many different ways. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the sun card, again from the Pagan Otherworlds. And just look at this card. I mean, it's showing contentment. You've gone through the journey, if you will. And this card is representing an individual who has, in a form, personally felt victory within their lives, whether it's just themselves feeling like they've overcome something that's been such a great challenge within themselves, or dealing with a situation with people, work, so on and so forth. This is a card of contentment. You know, it's like, it's the card of exhale. So when looking at this card, remember what I've just discussed about the sun's energy. Just keep that in mind as we go through 5 cards here, that the sun and these specific astrological signs and their minor arcana card, how they influence each other. So again, it's a sun card. And if you have a tarot deck with you, pull out the sun card and pull out the cards that I'm discussing in relation to the energy that the signs are influenced through with the sun star. I will have to take a sip of water, so bear with me here. And grab a piece of paper and pen, if you like, because I'm going to write down the dates, the decans of the sun, the astrological sign, in relation to, again, the minor arcana. So we're going seasonally. I'm going to go from the beginning, okay? I want to see here my order. I think that'll work. So we're going to jump to our spring season. And actually, you know what? I'm going to change it up. It's okay. Let's go for our current season that we're moving towards, because then you'll be able to relate it. I was going to start for our spring season that's already passed. We'll end with that season in regards for the sun and astrological sign that's associated with. So let's start focusing towards our fall months. So we have the 8 of Pentacles, which is placed the sun sign in Virgo. So I have the 8 of Pentacles, and I have to look at my notes because I'm still trying to get familiar with the planets and the signs and the decans. As I've said in past videos, it's a lot of information. So with our 8 of Pentacles, this is representing August 23rd to September 1st, which is coming up soon. So I will be doing a tarot astrology forecast for this week, but I'm going to just give a brief overview, brief overview of the 8 of Pentacles. And again, remember our sun energy. Okay. Here, if you look at the card, now there's different Rider-Waite-Smith decks, representations of all of these. But if you're looking at this video and going through with a particular deck, compare it with the card that I'm showing and see if the energy that's being described is applicable to your particular deck. Okay, so let's go back to this. Sun in Virgo. Virgo, we'll just break it down to specifics. Virgo they're an earth sign. They represent the beginning of our fall season, late summer, early fall. And Virgos, they are people of service. They want to do betterment for themselves and also for other people. They have a perspective of where they think first. before taking action. They look at both sides of everything. Virgo is ruled through Mercury, so it involves more of a thought process for Virgos. And they analyze things. They want to make sure. They're also perfectionists. They analyze things. They want to look at everything before they actually take action, and making sure that the situation that they're in, that they're covering the ground that's needed reasonably, logically. And once it's been assessed by them, they'll go ahead and take the appropriate steps. So as we see here, again, this card is for Sun in Virgo, August 23rd to September 1st. Look at the condition of this tree. The tree has been well maintained. It's up to this point, especially in the suit of pentacles or coins, we're seeing that great care has been taken with their work, with that individual self. They've made the proper choices. They've done the correct steps to really nurture and take care of the situation. And it's growing, as like in the wands, we start to see leaves sprouting, which means that it's being maintained with the right kind of energy. Here, the right nourishment, the right sources have been invested into this aspect of the Eight of Coins, Eight of Pentacles. So it's during this week, for the Sun in Virgo, and especially with the Eight of Pentacles, take care. Take care of yourself. Take care of the situation. But again, we're using thought, the Mercury influence for Virgo. And just looking at everything, and making sure before you take action that the choices that you're going to make, the actions that you're going to make are right, and that's going to benefit the potential outcome of this. So this is our Eight of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo, and that will be for the decan of 0 to 10 degrees. So this will be our first week of Virgo. Okay, so again, we're focusing on the Sun energy as I go through these cards. All right, so that's the late part summer, early part of fall. Our next card that is in the decan of, as we go into our fall months, is the Sun in Scorpio. And that's going to be 10 to 20 degrees. It's going to be the second decan, which means in that month of Scorpio, it's going to fall into the first week of Scorpio. And that's going to be, I just had it here, November 3rd to the 12th. And the card, the minor arcana card for the Sun in Scorpio is our Six of Cups. And Six of Cups, as we know, relates to harmony, friendship. We've gone through, at this point here with the sixes, we've gone through emotional shifts, changes, losses, and we've assessed, we've healed, and now it's the next step to move on. And we're seeing the potential. Anything that was amiss has now been taken care of. So let's talk a little bit about the energy of the Sun in Scorpio. In a way, it's a little conflicting because the Sun is fire energy and Scorpio is water. It's almost a similar placement for Mars and Pisces. They both conflict each other because one is energizing and vitality, and it's a life source, while the sign is placed in water, and that tends to be more emotional. So here, we're moving with our heart. And Scorpio, as we know, they're dedicated with their feelings and their emotions. If they feel strongly about something, and this also relates to intuition, if they feel strongly about something, they will make it known. And they are a fixed sign. So those emotions tend to stay ingrained in Scorpios. They're also very private. They keep their emotions to themselves unless push comes to shove, and they will express. But for the most part, if there's hurt or if there's indecision that's going on with Scorpios, they tend to internalize and keep it quiet. And it's usually best not to push the sign of Scorpio and ask him, what's going on? What's going on? Just let it be. Let them work through whatever's going on. So with the Sun in Scorpio and the Six of Cups, this card is a sign that it's a time of healing. It's a time of letting go and releasing that energy. In doing so, it puts you in a much better place so that you can move forward in other things, how you feel and how you see things. So that is our Six of Cups, Sun in Scorpio. And that is, again, the second decan, November 3rd to the 12th. And I will do an overview of that when that time comes. So as I go through these cards, we're going through seasonally, as I mentioned. So we started off with Virgo to represent our late summer, early fall. Scorpio, as I just discussed, is the mist of fall. And then we're going to go into the Sun in Capricorn. And that is our Four of Pentacles. And we also have a key here. Right. I interpret this card, the Sun in Capricorn with the key, as just that. This is, you're making the right steps. You're moving in the right direction. Fours tend to represent foundation, how things are building up. And it's a moment where you're right in the midway point of where you are and going towards completing your goal. So the key is a reminder of where you are. It's a key of knowledge, but also just to take a moment and also see what's been going on, what's been building up towards it. And again, also too, if there's any changes that need to be made, it's safe to do so. Now, Capricorn, with this card representing the Sun in Capricorn, Capricorn are the ultimate workaholics. They will work as much as needed to get to their goal. They like to work, I almost want to say, in restrictive situations, if there's a tight time frame. If there's challenges within the project or the goal that they're trying to complete, sometimes they work better under those situations. So with our Four of Pentacles, it's showing the direction that we're going in, and it's energy of to keep moving. Again, the sun is giving the encouragement and the needed resources in completing this project. So with our Four of Pentacles, we're doing good. We're in the halfway point of where we need to be. So this is our sun in Capricorn, our Four of Pentacles. And this represents actually the last decan. This is our third decan. It's 20 to 30 degrees. And this is January 10th to the 19th. So we will revisit this card come the new year for people who are born during that week. And it's actually the last week of the sign of Capricorn as we get ready to move to Aquarius. So the influence is still Capricorn, but as we go into our next decan, we're going to start seeing the influence of Aquarius. So this is our Four of Pentacles, Sun and Capricorn. Again, keep in mind the influence of the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, I'm sorry, that's for Jupiter. My apologies. Keep in mind the influence of the Sun throughout me showing these cards. All right, so now as we are coming out of winter, Sun in Capricorn, and you will notice these planets and astrological signs, they're not in a particular astrological order. They skip signs, and that's based on the planet of influence and the decan that it's in relation to the sign in the tarot. I told you it's complicated. So we're working right now with the sun energy. So we're going to move into spring with the Three of Wands, Sun in Aries. And this is going to be our second decan, 10 to 20 degrees for our Sun in Aries, and it represents the Three of Wands. So here with Capricorn, we're seeing the Four of Pentacles. We're starting to see progression in the direction of completing our goals. We're very direct with that, with the Sun in Capricorn for the Four of Pentacles. But now with the Three of Wands, we've had some time. There's been this influence of Aquarius and Pisces, but not in this series. Here, the Three of Wands represent moving into our new perspective, our new project, our new goals, the way we're seeing things, how we're feeling things. So Wands, the energy here is showing that we are building momentum. But the momentum here is still. We're seeing the Three Wands placed here in a moment of stillness. So it's building the concept, it's working towards the goal. Again, we're seeing the leaves sprouting, so the concept is building. And this is with our Sun in Aries. So we're getting the life source that's needed. The sun is starting to come out at this time. Okay, this is the early part of spring, March 31st to April 10th. So maybe still chilly in some areas, but we're still getting that life source, and it's moving us towards growth. So during the week of March 31st, April 10th, and that's 10 to 20 degrees, the second decan, basically the mid part of the season of Aries, this is when the energy is starting to move and build in a particular direction. Okay, so that's our Sun in Aries. And then lastly, we are moving into our early summer. So Sun and Aries represented the early part of spring. And then to represent and to wrap up the sun's energy through these astrological signs is Sun in Gemini. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge to explain. Let me first go through the decans. This is our 10 of Swords. Gotta move this here. So this is our 10 of Swords. And it's the last decan for the astrological month of Gemini. And that's June 11th to the 20th. Again, come next year, if I'm still doing this, I will do a Tarot Astrology overview for people who are born during this week, June 11th to 20th, Sun in Gemini. So this is a 10 of Swords. And you're thinking, wow, Sun in Gemini got the 10 of Swords, which is not the best card to have in a placement like that. But with the sun's energy, positiveness, and the sun's fire, Gemini is air. These two energies can work together. They're different, but they can work together. And you can overcome the 10 of Swords. So in doing so, here we have 10 swords, they're crossed. This is the ending. It's the ending of conflict, of challenges that just were, just never ending. Problems with making right choices. We have the thorns here. We have a lot of struggles here. But with the Sun in Gemini, you can utilize that sun's energy and the thought process of Gemini and to better communicate and to get your ideas. Use the sun as a means to burn things from the past, the thoughts and the energy that you were around. So the way I can explain this in a positive sense is the sun in Gemini is an encouragement to learn for what's happened and to do things differently. How would you approach that situation or a similar situation next time around? Use better thought, use better logic, better reasoning. I'm sorry, I have to move this again. My cat just came behind my computer and just plopped himself down. So, as difficult as this card is, and again, for June 11th to 20th, we're at the end of spring, getting ready to go into summer. It's time to let go. Let go of those challenging thoughts and to put yourself in a better headspace, if you will, literally. Old ideals, thoughts, way of thinking that just didn't work for you, let it go. Start fresh, get a different perspective. And this is our sun in Gemini. And this is the 20-30 degree decan. It's the last decan, wrapping up the month of Gemini. So when cards come up like that, where maybe the planet is placed in a positive situation, like Sun in Gemini is just a wonderful place, but you get it placed in a card like the 10 of Swords. It's just a way of just having to think and do things differently. If the card is negative, but the placement of the planets and the signs are in a good place, use that energy to make that change. You know, it's not all gloom and doom. It's just that sign. And again, to move in that direction, move in a positive direction. Don't get stuck in your head. You get stuck in your head, you will be stuck like this and you won't be able to move forward. So change the thought process, shift the way that you see things and think about things. You know, shake it up and release it. Okay, so those are the sun cards, or the sun star and its influence with the astrological signs. And I will go through this very quickly. So if you want to write down the dates. I may have gotten this out of order. I hope not. Okay. So we started off with the sun in Virgo. So this is our Eight of Pentacles. Sun in Virgo is August 23rd, September 1st, 0 to 10 degrees. It's the first part, the first week, or the first 10 days of the decan, the first 10 days of the month of Virgo. So this is 8 of Pentacles, and that's the sun in Virgo. Then we go into our fall months. Okay. 4 of Cups, this is the sun in Scorpio. And the sun in Scorpio is 10 to 20 degrees, so it's the second decan week for the month of Scorpio. Again, these decans run about 10 days. And that's November 3rd. I want to make sure, nope, I got this wrong. Yep, November 3rd to the 12th. This is for our 6 of Cups. Okay, and then for our winter months, we have our 4 of our 4 of Pentacles for the sun in Capricorn. And this is our 20 to 30 degree decan. It is the last week of Capricorn before we move into Aquarius. And this is a good time to, like I said, Capricorns are they're very studious. They are very focused with their work. At this week, for January 10th to 19th, I should also point out it's probably a good time to start wrapping up the goals and projects that you have, to harness the energy and the month of Capricorn and the sun's influence for energizing these goals and projects. So that's our sun in Capricorn. Okay, so now we're moving right into sun in Aries. It's the 3 of Wands, springtime. We're in the second decan, 10 to 20 degrees. This is our 3 of Wands, March 31st to April 10th. So we're right in the midst, beginning of spring, using that sun's energy to get the momentum moving even more so. The 3 of Wands, we see here that the action and the energy that's been taken so far towards our goals or working on a situation is already set in place, but it's still in the early stages. And then rounding out the tail end of our summer. Okay. Our 10 of Swords, sun in Gemini, June 11th to 20th. Again, this is the last decan for the month of Gemini. The following decan will represent Cancer. But again, this is the 10 of Swords. Do not use the negative aspect of this card to dissuade you. This is a card of showing that things have ended. Things that were going on in the mind and the thought process is coming to an end. Now it's time to focus on a new direction. Learn what you've experienced from everything leading up to the Ten of Swords. Now apply it next time around in a new manner. Learn from the lessons so you don't have to repeat again. And there you have it. Sun in Gemini, and wrapping up our spring season. So that takes care of the sun and its influence with these specific astrological signs in their relationship with the tarot card. The sun is the prominent star. It's not a planet, it's a star. That's why I keep saying the star. And how it interacts with these different signs throughout the season. So use these energy types as we go through the seasons. And when I show every 10 days, the decan, the planet and the sign and the tarot card, minor arcana card of influence, use that as your source of guidance, inspiration, to help you during that week. And again, these cards are more or less situated for people who are born during these specific weeks, but it can also apply for people who aren't born during those weeks. I talked about Jupiter in Leo for this week, August 2nd to the 11th. But right now, Jupiter is in Capricorn. So use the attributes of Capricorn to enhance this week for Jupiter and Leo. So if you're Jupiter and Leo, but we are planetarily set in Capricorn with Jupiter, just use the aspects. Capricorn, again, is, they work hard. They're very disciplined. Apply that energy when it comes to getting things done during the week of Jupiter and Leo for the decan, August 2nd to 11th. So that's one way of seeing it. And just being open to any possibilities that happen. So that's the Tarot Astrology for Jupiter and Leo. We went through our sun signs. I will follow, let's see, our next week. So I look here, because I'm going to start going in the pattern of our season. So we're going to start moving into fall astrological influences. So I will be doing Mars and Leo for August 12th, 22nd, within that time frame. I will do a video for that. And Mars and Leo is ruled by the Seven of Wands. I don't want to give it away just yet. So thank you for taking part, listening. If you have any comments, of course, feel free to leave the comments below. I appreciate everyone's patience as I go through this journey on YouTube and trying to share information and trying to make it simpler on me and for everyone, so I don't have to, tire everyone from going at 1 hour, 2 hours of videos. It's a bit long, so I have to change that process around, which I'm doing now. So to reach me, I'm on Instagram, The Mystic Rose Tarot, here on YouTube. I don't have Facebook. I'm working right now with these 2 social media platforms. My website is www.themysticrosetarot. You can contact me there. I am available to do tarot consulting. The breakdown of my readings and information is all on the website. I am also offering tarot tutorials. So if you're interested in learning more about the tarot, either the basics or as I'm growing more, probably more in the intermediate phase of astrology and the decans, I am open to doing that as well. But just contact me and I will discuss the parameters for doing tarot tutorials. And I think that's it. Oh, Monday. This Monday on the, let me see, 10th. Twice a month I do Mystic Moon Monday. And I basically talk about moon energy, the sign that the moon is in, the phase that the moon is in, and how all of that affects us during the time of the moon, where it's placed, and its sign, and the phase that's in. And I talk a little bit about astrology, not too much. I need to emphasize I'm not an astrologer. I just incorporate aspects of astrology into my tarot practice. I know a little bit about houses, but aspects and transits, I want to leave that to people who are very versed in that, and that they can answer questions very easily. But for me, I'm just keeping it very basic with the astrology and just bringing in a little bit of a twist with the decans and the planets and the major and minor arcana. So that will be this Monday at 7 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. Again, discussing the moon energy, 5 minutes. But anyhow, it's this Monday, the 10th, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Please join in. I'd love to interact with people online. Be kind. Remember the human. And I'm happy to answer any questions and anything you have about the tarot. That's it. This is Amy, the Mystic Rose Tarot. You have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see everyone this Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And again, I will be doing my tarot astrology for our next decan, which would be our Mars and Leo, August 12th to 22nd. So check back then as well.